Welcome to the Creation Museum. Everything was just beautiful getting to be in springtime. This is not to be confused with the Ark Encounter, which is about 40 miles south of there. Both run by Answers in Genesis and both definitely a must-see. This trip we did go to both, and I do love when it rains at the Ark. It's so appropriate. And if you love spring like I do, it's spring in Kentucky. I've got a few shots before we got to the Plants of the Bible Conservatory, and any kind of a greenhouse, sign me up. And this is new. I want to say it was just open December of 2024. And very fascinating to see. Not only are some of your favorite plants like this one, Dusty Miller. I'm a huge fan of Dusty Miller, but also maybe there's some new plants that you're not familiar with that you may want to check out. I feel so dumb. I didn't know Dusty Miller has bloom stalks. Did not have any idea. They always have in this center area a kind of seasonal display. At Christmas, it was beautiful as well. This one includes some very huge flowers and then also just a whole bunch of potted varieties clustered around in beautiful spring colors. And I was very curious, how did they make these? It's a very cool display. Looks like PVC pipes or something holding them up. It's foam. If you've ever seen the creating foam flowers with the foam craft sheets, they're just really fun. This is a really cool focal point that they created. Ken Ham, who is the founder and kind of the brains behind all of this, especially Answers in Genesis, him and his wife were given this Queensland bottle tree back in '02, and it was very tiny, and look at how big it's gotten. Kind of very representative of the entire thing that they've created here. Very nice. And we will be going into 3 different greenhouses based on the area, so subtropical, Mediterranean, and the arid and semi-arid. Now, some of these I do go through rather quickly, so feel free to pause the video or kind of zoom in so you can do all the reading. There's a combination of plants that were just in the areas of the Bible that are mentioned, but also ones that are specifically mentioned in the Bible, and then you can kind of zoom in. More of the cards that have a lot of text, those are ones that you'll have specific Bible verses that reference them. Very cool. And there was one of my favorite plants that's mentioned in the Bible, and I had no idea whatsoever, which is kind of cool because it's kind of like you have rock stars in your garden. Especially if you're in the Midwest, a lot of these plants that you may see in a lot of these different greenhouses, you're going to probably keep either in the summer or you're going to keep them indoors. Cinnamon is mentioned in Exodus along with other spices. This one's really cool from Luke, the tax collector who was climbing the tree to get a better view of Jesus. This is the sycamore fig. The carob is actually the pods that the prodigal son was probably dining on before he returned home. That's kind of a cool reference. And I don't know if you're like me or not, but there are some plants out there that I will not buy because I don't like the name that they gave it. If it's something like, devil this or something. But King of Kings, not only is that a beautiful plant, but I do love the name. This would be a fun plant to have. Not only would it be really cool to have figs, but also look at those beautiful leaves. course, the castor oil tree in Jonah, which we are currently doing a Bible study on there. That's kind of cool. It gave Jonah momentary shade, shall we say. I don't know if you can read the tag or not. This is the prayer plant, which is, look at those leaves, absolutely stunning, and just a really cool name as well. Now we're off to the Mediterranean greenhouse, which you will see slightly different, but also surprising. I found a few items in here surprising. Here's the one that pretty much shocked me the most. This is the box tree, otherwise known as the boxwood. A, I did not know it was considered Mediterranean, and B, it has its place in the Bible. That's really cool. I do love boxwoods pretty much everywhere. Love them even in the Midwest. They do very well for me. But also stone pine trees. Who doesn't love pine trees? This one's kind of a funny looking one. It's very spindly. And who doesn't love pistachios? I never noticed that was mentioned in the Bible along with almonds and honey and whatnot in Genesis. This was a beautiful portion of the greenhouse. For those of us who love ponds, streams, any kind of water features, it was very beautifully done, and also a nice little water sound. Also really interesting plantings around there. I did not know that Artemisia, I don't know how you say it. I actually don't know how I say it. Did not know that this is also known, or is, wormwood. Love this plant, especially in the summer. It's got that beautiful kind of blue-green. So it's just going to be really fun to start incorporating, or, even if you currently incorporate some of these plants in your containers, in your landscape, now you know you've got some history of it. Here's one that you may have guessed would be here, and that's papyrus, because of course it was used to make paper, especially back in the day. But this is a beautiful plant that I love using either in containers or around ponds, and they can get very large, so you may be familiar under the kind of the trade name Prince Tut, King Tut, but a beautiful plant to use in really any gardening in the summer. Myrtle is typically, from what I know about it, is used for topiaries, and they can be made into very tiny topiaries, which is super fun to do. In the last greenhouse is the arid and the semi-arid selections, which you will recognize most of these as, well, your succulents, basically. and they had a nice few little specimens. Love the kalanchoe. I don't know how you say it. The velvet leaf is very, very pretty. The jade plant and the ghost plant, very cool to include with little arrangements. And of course pencil cactus, which starts out very small but gets very, very large, and that's one of my favorite ones because it's so soft and fluffy. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this walkabout the new display here at the Creation Museum. Let me know what was your favorite, and I'll see you in the next one.